Let's talk wearables. So I think the first wearables came out around 2012. That's what I remember with the Fitbit. Everyone started counting their steps, trying to get to 10,000. And I recall the company that I worked at had a ton of step competition. So that's why I remember it being around 2012. I know I had the simple one where you had this little dongle that you put into this rubber band. You could switch out the bands so you could match your outfits. And then it was that awesome sense of accomplishment when it buzzed on your wrist and you knew you got those 10,000 steps in. So I wore that for years, I think. I know Fitbit kept coming out with new and better ones where you could see the time, etc. I don't remember specifically what I've got, but I do recall wearing those consistently for a couple of years. Then fast forward to 2021, that is when I got my first Apple Watch. And I believe it was the Series 7, and it was Black Friday in November 21 when I got that because I went to the mall to get it, and it was crazy. But I had gotten a lot of recommendations. You know, you work out, you're able to track your workouts, you're able to see your heart rate, see how you're doing. So I got it, and I loved it at first. I wore it all day, all night for a couple of years, actually. Like, I remember looking at the calendar with all the rings, and I was like, wow, I close my rings like every day for months and months and months. So that was pretty awesome to see. And it's really motivating to close those rings every day. But what I ran into is my battery kept dying. And I found that super annoying because I'm a very active person. And, you know, I will work out and then I'll go for a walk. And, you know, I want to make sure I get all that activity score, meet all my goals. And when my watch is dead, it's like I can't work out or I can't do any more steps because it's not logged. Because if it's not logged, it didn't happen. So I found that super frustrating. So when I had a lot of those issues, I saw that the rings were coming out. So I was like, all right, let me check out one of these. So I tried out the RingConn. I actually still have it here. And this is the original RingConn, not the RingConn 2, which I hear might be a little bit better, but I honestly did never try it. Here it is very square-like, and so it's pretty uncomfortable. But again, you know, it was more comfortable than the Apple Watch. So I did wear it for about 6 to 8 months, and it gives some pretty good data, but it only really gives about 4 points. So in the app, you'll see like this triangle, and each of the points has a different data element, being sleep, relax status, vitals, and your activity score. And it really just gave you that score. It didn't give you any insights of how you got that score or what you could do to improve your score. So that was really about it. But the battery life was a lot better than the Apple Watch as well. So I wore that for around 8 months or so. And then I wanted to try something else because it was super uncomfortable. And I kept hearing really good things about the Oura Ring. So I tried that out, and I'm actually still wearing it. I have the rose gold one, which you have to pay a little bit extra for. And I've only had it for probably about 6 months or so, and it's pretty faded. And I do wear one of the rubber protectors every time I work out. So I'm not sure why it's turning back gold. I did reach out to customer support, and they mentioned that the rose gold color is supposed to change with the person. It's supposed to be its own color. So, okay, whatever. So I'm not getting a refund on that. But I really love the Oura and the data that it gives you. I even had to write it down so I could remember everything to tell you. So you wake up every morning and you have a readiness score, which is based on how you sleep, lots of other factors, pretty much just tells you how ready you are for your upcoming day. It will also give you a sleep score, and this will be based on the amount of sleep you get, what your heart rate was, what your temperature is, the type of sleep that you get, many different factors. Then you also get your your resilience score, and that is solid, adequate, good, etc. from there. And that is based on other scores that you have. Then you also have an activity goal for the day, and that is going to be calculated for you based on your sleep and your readiness and the other scores there. So mine is typically around 400, and I have no problem meeting that. I should probably take a look at it, maybe increase it a little bit there. But it will vary depending on what those scores are. So if your readiness isn't good, sometimes it'll go down to 250 for me. It also tracks your daytime stress, which is really helpful for me. I have a normal 8 to 5 job and my stress peaks at certain times. So it's cool to see like what meeting I had at what time and what was stressful for that. And this is also something that I'm working on because in my job, like I don't like to take breaks. I like I'm there, I'm ready to go, I'm totally focused. I'm on starting in the morning and then I like to shut it off at the end. I don't like to take breaks because then that gets me my brain going somewhere else. I just like to work, and then be done and don't do any more. But that has kept my daytime stress levels up. So I'm trying to fit breaks in there. If you have any tips, let me know below in the comments. The other cool thing about the Oura Ring is it gives you a cardiovascular age, and that is based on your VO2 max. So here's one difference between the Apple Watch and the Oura. So if you're anything like me and you wear your watch to walk your dog and you want to count an outdoor walk as exercise, that actually contributes to your VO2 max. So my VO2 max in my Apple Watch is much lower than it is in the Oura. And in the Oura, you actually take your phone with you and you go on a walk and you do a 5-minute walking test. And then that'll show you your VO2 max and you'll be able to see the trend line. And then it'll also give you that cardiovascular age, which mine is 5.5 years younger than what I actually am. So super proud of that. I did have to shut off the data from the watch coming in from there because it kind of screwed it up a bit. So personal preference, but I do definitely like the Ring to give me my cardiovascular age and the VO2 max. Another thing that the Oura does is it calculates your circadian rhythm. So I am an early morning person. It'll tell you that that is your chronotype if that is the deal for you. But it'll also tell you like the midpoint of your sleep and where you are at, every night compared to what the average is for yourself. And you can also put tags in to see how different things affect you. So a prime one that I use is alcohol versus no alcohol. So you can see if, something like your HRV goes up or down. You can see, oh, did I have alcohol this day? And that'll definitely show you different factors. I've even used it to tag nightmares for sleep. If I didn't have that good of a sleep score, okay, I had this nightmare. Or, maybe you had a stressful day at work or you had to travel. You can throw all those tags in there. They're super easy to put in. And then when you look at your trend lines or other data, you can see what tags were there for which days, even which weeks. So super cool. 2 other items, symptom radar. That one is really helpful. I recently had an infection in my elbow, but my symptom radar went off 2 days before I even realized I had anything wrong in my elbow whatsoever. So really cool. It doesn't necessarily tell you what was wrong, but it does kind of give you some factors like, oh, your temperature was a little bit high here, or maybe something with your heart rate. So it doesn't tell you exactly what's up. Of course, please, visit a doctor and figure that out. But anytime I've been sick, this symptom radar has told me ahead of time, and I don't get very sick very often whatsoever. Then lastly, there is a feature within the Oura called circles. So if you have a significant other, or maybe you have kids, brothers, sisters that you're doing competitions with, this is really cool because I got my husband an Oura Ring because I wanted to help monitor his health. He's an old bodybuilder and he doesn't go to the gym as much as he used to. And I was like, dude, we're getting older. You got to get back into it. You got to do some cardiovascular exercises. So now I can see his stats just at a high level and how they compare to mine in the readiness, sleep, and activity scores. So super cool there. Lots of data in the Oura. I would say there's one downfall. There is a monthly subscription fee for the Oura. I think it's like $5.99 or something. But good news is that the Oura is HSA and FSA eligible. So that is what I use. You don't necessarily have to pay out of pocket. You can pay from your HSA account. So that is helpful as well. Now, if I look at the wearables overall, my Apple Watch, I do wear it, but mostly for workouts. It's just so much simpler than having to verify my workout in the Oura, which it actually does detect activities pretty well, but I would say it's not exact. Like if you say you started running at 5:01 a.m., it might say like 5:03, and I like to be accurate. So the Apple Watch definitely does that, and all my workouts feed into Oura. Also, like when I'm running, if I wanted to track like the distance or look at the map on where I run, you would have to bring your phone with you and keep the app open in your Aura. So I'll wear like a fanny pack, put my phone in it, but it's super annoying when you're running and that thing is bouncing. So much easier just to have the Apple Watch with you. I also like to paddleboard a ton, and I can see how far I'm going, what time it is, when I want to turn around. So super useful. So in conclusion, I would say, depending on your preferences, right, you got to find out what works for you. But what works for me is a combination of the Apple Watch and the Oura Ring. I love doing my workouts with the Apple Watch, which that data all feeds into the Oura Ring. Oura Ring, super comfortable. Battery life is amazing. You just charge it while you're in the shower every day, and I never have any issues. So I hope that's helpful in you making your decision on which wearable you would like to try out. If you do have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will try to help. Hope this has been useful for you. Have an amazing day.